Hi everybody, I thought I would just give a quick intro to this video as it's a little bit long. So basically this video is recorded on our bikes with myself and my friend Manny. Basically this year Manny passed his big boy bike test, so we went out and we test rode a lot of 2020 bikes with the view for what would be a good first bike for him, but not too small, something that, you know, if he got more confident and he didn't have to upgrade straight away. So it was looking at something high, mid-end range, if you like. The audio gets a little bit choppy because what I've done is I am recording from our Sena Bluetooth, so do bear with it. It's just where the distance between the two headsets just loses it a little bit, but it's not too bad. And that wasn't the end of the technology troubles. We ran out of GoPro battery because we can't stop talking, so there is a part 2 to this video, which there'll be links at the end for you to watch if you enjoy that. So basically it's two riders just chewing the fat. The information that we're giving you is just our opinion. Hope we're not offending anyone by slagging off a bike that they love. Like I say, there is a bike that we rode that you know, I thought was rubbish, he thought was brilliant, somebody else in our group thought was, you know, the best thing in the world. So it's just a personal opinion and we hope you enjoy it.
Alright, do you want to lead, mate?
Gosh, Amash.
How are you getting on with the bike now, anyway?
Yeah, alright, mate. I think I've got...
You fully used to it?
2,333 miles.
Oh, you should be used to it now then. Yeah, so actually while these batteries are going, let's start this video about what we've ridden this year.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
So, for the sake of YouTube, you passed your test this year to give them the backstory. So you passed your test this year. I then went away on holiday the week you passed, so I felt bad not giving you my triple to poodle around on, because you had bought that bike that you're on now, the KTM Duke 790,
Yeah.
and it hadn't arrived. So you had a week, well no, actually you had longer than that, you had like 2 weeks at the time, weren't it, until the bike was meant to be coming.
Yeah, so I passed the test on a Suzuki SV 650. And whilst I was going through the test process, went out and looked at the bike, saw this deal for this one. Obviously I hadn't passed the test, so I couldn't test ride this one. And then when I had passed my test, yours was the first, your Triumph Speed Triple was the first one I'd been out on.
Yep. So, and that's where I was like, oh, should I let you have the bike? Should I not let you have the bike?
Which was madness, because nobody was expecting you to let me have a bike.
No, but I was a bit like, you know, obviously, you know, you just passed your test, you know, like, for people that don't know, Manny passed his test with John, so obviously John's going out on his bike, and poor old Manny's got no bike to go out on.
Yeah, because I had the 125 that I'd sold.
Yeah, you sold it, and in any case, once you passed your test, you don't really want to be going out on a 125.
No.
So
John had that CBR at the time, didn't he, the 600?
Yeah.
I went out on that and wanted to kill myself. That was like the most horrific thing. It was stupid.
Hold on. Oh no, he did have the CBR. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, that's the first bike I got,
briefly until the Lisa bike. But yeah, but in any case, not giving you my bike wound up to be the best thing in the world, because you then went off and test rode pretty much everything you could get your hand on.
Indeed. So first phone call was as soon as I got my license through the post. You have to wait until you get your license through the post. I got a hold of the Yamaha to try and get on the MT-07 and the MT-09. They had the MT-07 as a demo, and they had the MT-09. They didn't have the MT-09, but they had the Yamaha adventure bike with the MT-09.
Weren't it the Phaser that you went on?
Yeah, the Phaser, that's right, yeah, the Phaser. So I've got on the MT-07, put it into normal sort of street mode or whatever the base mode is, rain mode. Took it out on a run, and within not quite a bit maybe, so they're really flashing us. And it was like a bag of nails, piece of shit. I was like, no, not interested in this. So I literally went out on it for about 5 minutes, and then.
See, I quite like the MT-07, and like loads of people rave about it for the best first time bike, but it is really grunty low end, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean the thing. So when I took it back, I said to the sales guy, no, not for me. And he said, oh, did you try it in the race mode? I said, no, I didn't try the race mode. So I took it back out of the race mode, which is a little bit better, but it felt a bit agricultural, and it didn't have any toys. The screen was like from 2000 and fucking 2002, like a dot matrix screen, and then it didn't have an upshifter. I mean, having got on yours and got on the old upshifter, that was like, yeah, gotta happen. I need one of those.
Yeah, it's a silkier engine, the Street Triple, for sure. That's the triple signature, isn't it, compared to the MT-07, which is more of a wheelie monster, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it just felt like it was put together. I mean, the Triumph is obviously a high benchmark, so I went out on yours for a few hours, didn't we, the first time, so I really had a good test ride of yours, and then by comparison, it was just a bag of shit, the old Yamaha. But then I got on the MT-09 equivalent, and again, it just felt a little bit sort of agricultural. I think that's a 4-cylinder, I think that is, isn't it?
I think it is, yeah. All the Yamahas are.
Yeah, so got on that. It just didn't sort of thrill me at all. You sort of think to yourself, especially for the money as well. And with the MT-09, they were obviously on the previous sort of shape look. So again, all the switch gear and everything was all a bit meh. There was no toys on it, there was no flipper.
Yeah, Yamahas, they're solid, but they don't feel cheap, but they feel plastic, don't they, compared to the polishness of the Triumphs.
Well, this is it. So that was a no from me, bearing in mind you couldn't even get one even if you wanted one at the time, because it was, everything was on lockdown, and they didn't have any. He tried to sell me the one in the shop. So anyway, yeah, that was a no. Yamaha #1. And then go after the Yamaha.
Didn't you? Then it was Honda, wasn't it? You went with the Neo Cafe Honda, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, I went in and originally was obviously getting on the 650. What's Honda's 650?
It was that Neo Cafe one, wasn't it?
No, that's a 1100.
CV. Oh, I thought. Oh no, because they do a 750 CV, isn't it?
Well, they do a 650. The one I was on was a 650.
Right.
Originally, when I went into the dealership.
Yeah.
It does look nice, and price-wise, and everybody was saying that Honda's got the best reliability. So anyway, got on the 250, literally drove around the block and took it back and said, no mate, not interested, not the one.
What was wrong with it?
It's a difficult one because it just lacked power. I mean, I think that was significantly lower than the MT-09.
Yeah.
But it was a 4-cylinder with like no low-down torque, and it was all things you have to rev the shit out of it. The gearbox just kept slipping into neutral. And again, like no toys whatsoever, no gizmos, no gadgets. I think even the screen was like some weird inverted coloured TFT thing. So anyway, took that straight back. And originally, like you say, I wanted to get onto the Neo Racer, the 1100, which is a beast. I mean, that thing was...
Yeah, I do like the look of them. I mean, I sat on one, didn't I, on your bike?
Yeah.
And although it looks big, it felt very small when you sat on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's heavy. That's a heavy bike.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had that out for a few hours. I mean, I did enjoy it. Again, you have to rev the tits out of it. It wasn't like the most torquey of engines. And as you know, I do like a bit of torque, so I've got a turbo car.
You know, I was surprised that, they let you out, because you obviously went out on a litre bike, and how long had you had your license at that point?
2 weeks.
Yeah, and they let you out on that leader.
Bear in mind that so I'm calling these guys and booking in to go on to 650s, and they're encouraging me to get onto the leader bike.
Yeah.
So it's not.
I mean, could that be as well because of your age? You know,
Yeah.
they're like, you know, where he's not, you know, some 20-year-old kid.
Yeah.
You know, he's been driving long enough. Because, I mean, it is as well. I see like the progression you and John made since passing your test is like massive.
Yeah.
Whereas if you see like a 20-year-old, they're far more reckless but it's not because they're, well, I suppose it is, you're younger and you got a bit more balls, but maybe it's more because they just haven't got the road sense, you know?
Yeah, it's a lack of experience on the road. I mean, being a driver, you know, I've been driving since I was 17, so we're going, sort of 15, 16 years or so, and you've seen everything at that point, you know, you see all the people pulling out, people for this sort of shit, you know, tractors on the road, you come around a blind bend and you see a car in a ditch, so you're a lot more sort of conscious. But then the strange thing was that I was struggling, so the place I bought the KTM from, they wouldn't allow me to test ride the KTM, the one I was buying from their dealership.
Yeah.
So, but then on your bike, for example, in Aylesbury, John, as you mentioned, I'm calling these guys and saying I want to get on a Kawasaki Z900. John's making a phone call and saying he wants to get out on a Aprilia RSV4.
Yeah, they let him.
and they're letting him, you know.
That's unbelievable. I mean, to be fair though, actually, they were the only dealer, weren't they, where they had a little bit of sensibility and they said, no, if you're going out with a mate, we're not letting you have the bike.
That's what they said to me on the phone, exactly that.
Yeah, because and that makes sense, because obviously if you're going out with your mate, you might, you know, be a little bit more, you know, leery than you would be on your own.
Absolutely.
But that really was the only restriction you had, apart from Triumph. I mean, when we'll get to that, but you and me went out on the triples, and Nina was like, well, because you're with me, and she knew me, she was like, we'll let you on the speed. But she was quite hesitant, weren't she?
I think one thing I would mention is, so as with most things in life, it's not necessarily what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah.
And I think having people that are obviously familiar with bikes, that purchased bikes from certain dealerships in the past, definitely plays into the dealer that you're buying from, or you're potentially going to go on a test ride with. You know, they sort of, you know, it obviously depends on who your mate is. If your mate's a fucking absolute tool and they've crashed a bike from the dealership, chances are you probably don't want to mention them. But if you're, you know, of sound mind and you come across well and you don't look like you're taking a piss, or you're gonna wreck a bike, they're gonna let you potentially go out on it. Because at the end of the day, you're not gonna buy a bike, contrary to what I did, but that was only because of the deal. You're not going to buy a bike without having taken it out for a test ride.
Yeah.
So, I mean, advice would always be try and find sort of people in your friendship group that have got bikes. I mean, most people come into bikes from friends that have got bikes and get recommendations of good dealers. And, you know, I mean, we went to a couple of dealers and they were just, you know, I'd never go there again.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll go back to the bike. So on the Yamaha.
You did the Yamaha, then you did the Hondas.
I did the Hondas. Again, the 1100. I mean, they wanted about 12 grand for that bike, which was, you know, that for what it was. I think that's asking a lot of cash for the comparable sort of, you know, bikes you can get. And then what goes on after that? So I think, was it the Triumph then? I think you and I.
Yeah, then I got back from holiday, and we went out and we did the triple. So we took out a street triple and a speed triple.
Yes.
And obviously I, at the time, still had my street triple.
Yes.
And we were on 2019 models, but basically they're the same bike as the 2020.
Yes.
And for me, the street triple was just smoother than mine. You didn't really notice much difference, but then obviously you didn't have the mileage I had with it. I just felt the newer one, everything, you could just tell it was just more refined in every single way. It cornered just a little bit better, it accelerated just a little bit nicer. Everything was just more polished, and the LCD screen was really nice.
Yeah, I mean the LCD screen itself was nice, but I don't think the graphic interface was any good though.
I don't know. They ruined it on the 2020 actually, because the 2019 was simple and you know you could see where everything was, but the 2020 was shit. Oh, and the rider mode, switching rider modes was nowhere near as easy as it is on your KTM and my RR here, is it?
I think they need to sort out they need to get somebody in there that can sort out the software side of things, because it was just all a bit finicky, and like you were saying, you're spending half your life looking at a screen rather than the road.
Yeah, it's definitely far more faffage.
But then saying that, I think modes-wise, if I remember correctly, I think I only had 3 modes on that bike, if I'm not mistaken.
On the street, I can't remember now, you know. We had rain, road, race, or whatever the race equivalent.
And I think that was basically it. I mean...
Yeah, I don't think it had a programmable... Did it? Maybe it did. I mean, we didn't have a chance. The speed certainly did. The speed triple had a track, you know, specific mode for it. I think the street did as well. It's not really needed. Once you're in the dynamic equivalent.
Did you think you could tell the difference between the modes?
Yeah. You definitely, you know, you didn't need to twist your wrist as much. I felt with the street, I started pushing it a bit more in its dynamic equivalent mode, and it was certainly more capable.
Yeah.
The street triple, in comparison, I didn't get on with it.
The street or the speed?
The speed. The street I loved. Like, if I'm not sat on this RR, I'd be sat on a brand new street triple now. You know, for me, it's the every bike. It's brilliant. You know, I can't... Well, you can knock it, but, you know, overall, it's to do everything fine. The speed triple, on the other hand, I felt on that, it was more of a track bike. You know, when you were riding it hard, you know, we weren't riding it hard, but you know what I mean, when you start pushing it a bit,
yeah,
you can then feel, this is what it was built for, this is more capable.
Yeah.
But just pootling around on it was, it just felt a bit heavy, a bit harder to turn.
That's my overarching feeling on that bike, was it was heavy.
Yeah, I mean, it was hard to put into a corner as well. It just didn't want to dip.
No.
You had to proper counter steer it
to
get it over. I mean, but that said, when you then went into sort of race mode, you know, in your head, you start riding it a little heavier.
Yeah. Then
you're like, oh, okay, this feels, you know, different. It feels good. And there was that time I rev bombed it, didn't I? And it's got that growl to it. Fucking hell, it was literally like the street triple. I love the soundtrack on that. It's beautiful.
That's the thing. I mean, that's like almost like tear inducing. That is the triple when you're revving the nuts out of it. I mean, lest we forget that you had your light set on your bike at what, 9,500, I think it was.
Yeah.
And it was John that pointed out that they were set low. I mean, when you get to sort of what 11, 12,000 RPM on that triple, that was like set.
Oh yeah. But then I remember when I wound up the speed triple.
Yeah.
And that just made the street sound like a lion cub. You know, right. it was like wow, the street triple, but the speed triple was like right, fucking like when I first heard it, I was like, oh my god, you know, I was like, I was scared and I came at the same time. It's never happened before.
I mean, to be honest with you, I think that was the first bike that I wheelied on, wasn't it? The old speed triple.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's just for a beginner bike, or not even a beginner bike, you know, it's too much.
Yeah, the speed triple's too much, and I thought maybe it's because it was maybe designed for a bigger rider. So we put John on it, didn't we? And he's 6 foot. What is he? 6'3"?
Yeah, 6'3". Oh yeah, we're clear by the way. We're clear.
6'3", and he didn't like it. He said he still felt a bit cramped. So with it being bigger, it's not like it's for bigger people.
It's a strange one. I think the speed. It's funny because someone like you that has a street triple already on a 675, you would assume after having had that bike for what, 2 years, 3 years?
Yep.
You would assume that you would want to upgrade, in inverted commas, to the 1000 version of the same bike. A bit more power.
And when we went for a test ride, that's exactly what I thought. I thought, oh, is this the bigger version of the Street?
But I don't think it is.
No.
I think it's overall a bigger bike. It's overall a heavier bike. I mean, it may be a better cruiser. I mean, I know you're saying you thought it would suit the track a bit better.
Yeah, I mean, that one had cruise control, and the Street didn't have cruise control, weren't it?
I don't remember having cruise control. But
no, it definitely had cruise control because I was faffing around with that for ages. It was. Yeah, I don't know. The speed. If you gave me one, I wouldn't turn it down, and I'd be happy with it.
Yeah.
And it's a lot better than a lot of bikes out there.
Yeah.
But I think it strangely, the little brother, the Street Triple, outperforms it on the street. I mean, and I suppose there's the answer, isn't it? That's why it's the Street Triple, and the Speed Triple is, the more track-focused version of it.
But I'll tell you one thing that I'm sort of jumping forward here in when I did the actual test ride. But so having been on that Speed Triple, that's 1,000. Is it 1,100 or is it 1,000?
Is it 1,050? I think.
1,050, yeah, 1,050, right. I later on got on a Kawasaki Z900, and having been on both, the Kawasaki I think was about $8,500.
Yeah.
Those Speed Triples are, I think, 13, 14 grand.
Yeah, by the time you put some toys on it, I think it was just shy of. It was about 12.5 for the Street, and the Speed was like 14, weren't it?
Yeah, you're talking about, that's big money. I mean, that 1,000 RR you're on now is 16, 17 grand.
Yeah.
Base price is 15.
Oh yeah, but we were talking about those were the Street RXs, so that had all the toys on it.
Yeah, but yours got all the toys.
Yeah.
I mean, yours got all the toys and then fucking self-cancel indicators. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the Triumph on technology-wise, they're a million miles away from your BMW or the Ducati or whatever. But then, even the KTM has got more toys than that. Not this about toys, but what I'm saying is for that sort of money, one would like to have a few more extras.
Yeah.
But then you get on a Kawasaki Z900, which has got basically nothing. I think it had an upshift, but it didn't have a flipper. But that's a 900cc. I think they're about 110, 115 brake. And the linear power delivery of that bike, and being that it's probably about a similar sort of weight to the Triumph Speed. Speed. I sort of semi-fell in love with that Kawasaki.
Yeah, you really liked it, didn't you?
The value proposition is brilliant, and you just feel like it's a proper solid bit of kit. I mean, I know people say Kawasaki's a bit cheap and a bit sort of like nasty, but I genuinely thought for not half the price, exaggeration, but it's almost half the price. It's no contest.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, but then the funny thing is, you came out of a test ride on both and didn't say to me, "Oh, I want the Speed." You came and said, "I want the Street."
Yeah, it was the Street all day long for me.
Which is very telling about that bike, isn't it?
Yeah. So, well, yeah, but then that said, I'm a cautious rider. I like my bike to be, everything. If I was more of a track rider,
yeah,
I'd probably be steering towards the Speed, for more of that focus. But because I don't do that, I'm like, well, if I'm going to commute into work, if I'm going to have some fun at a weekend,
Yeah.
You know, they've just got it so right that, to be fair, you think like, oh, well, you'll perfect it with the speed, but, you know, how do you perfect perfection? You know, and that's what I meant from, like, my 2015 to the 2019 model. It was just little... Oh, what's happened there?
Do we risk it for a biscuit?
It's up to you.
On the bike?
Go on.
Yeah, fuck it. The joy's been on a motorbike, mate. Okay, I'm with you, right? But would you rather throw the bike you're on now around the track or that speed triple?
No, definitely the RR.
It's no contest, isn't it?
Yeah, but then it's like I was saying earlier, on this RR, you know, in full winter gear,
Yeah.
I was not very happy with it. You know, and that's why, like, the heated gear might be the answer. But yeah, it's a summer, well, it's a warm weather bike, isn't it?
What, the one you're on now?
Yeah.
So, but the Triumphs are naked, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, whenever I would go out, like, on winter days on my Triumph or a wet day,
Yeah.
I'd never be, like, cursing the roads.
You'd never be what?
I'd never curse the road, which is what I'm doing
We're going to
now.
get told off here, so we're going to get a bollock in here, I think. It's closed.
Close.
Is it closed?
Yeah.
It's closed. Whoopsie.
That's proper closed.
You know what they're doing? I think they're redoing that stadium thing, aren't they? Oh, you don't know, Lemmy.
I have no idea where we are, let alone...
There was like a horse thing, equine centre thing, quite famous.
May have heard of it. So we've done the Triumph. You then went off and had a little go on a Kawasaki that you love.
No, hold on a minute. Then we went BMW shopping.
We went BMW, yeah. So BMW, we then went out on the F900
Yes.
and the S1000 RR. Now BMW were they were cautious.
You know, I'm looking to get one. Can you get me on an F900? He made it out like he was doing a bit of a favour.
Yeah.
To get us out of the bike. Anyway, John called separately. Bear in mind, John passed at the face of the same time that I have.
Yep.
And asked to get out on a 1250. Was it GS? 1250 GS?
No, he went on. Yeah, it was the 1250 GS and
Yep.
also the XR, whatever that is. That's a litre, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, 1000 XR or XS or something.
Yeah, he quite rated that XR as well.
He loved it. He fell in love with that bike.
Then Chris, the other guy who's been riding a long time, he has the what is
RS.
it? RS.
1250 RS.
He loves the RS. Thought the XR was a bag of shit. He literally rode it down the road, turned around and rode it back.
Exactly that, yeah.
So it's funny how, you know, different bikes for different people, isn't it?
It is indeed. I mean, Chris is a fucking veteran of the game, so he knows his shit. John's new to the game. I mean, John didn't rave about the Triumph speed either, did he? Because obviously, so we went out to BMW anyway. The long story short, he made it out like it was a big thing that he was doing. I rang Dom, said to Dom, mate, do you want to come out? I'm going out on a test ride on the F900. Do you want to come out? Dom then booked himself in for the 1000 RR. As we know, the rest is history. But the actual bike itself, not the one for me. Definitely not. I mean, what were your thoughts on the F900?
The F900, well, as we all know, it's a bit of a paradox, that bike.
In what way?
Well, because I dropped it, but I didn't drop it. I mean, as in, you can go through my channel and you can see a video of me dropping that bike, but that is a figment of everyone's imagination, because I then bought the S1000 RR, which cancelled out the drop, because I then didn't have to pay for the brake lever that broke in said paradoxal drop. So, although I dropped that bike, it's a paradox, and so it didn't drop it. But if I didn't have dropped that bike, I would have dropped it again, because it was a piece of shit. It just, I don't know, it just felt, it was high up, it was, not especially flickable. I mean, the tech was okay, but the tech is the same as what I've got here on the 1000.
Yeah.
It was just, I don't know, it was just like how you described the MT-07. It was just agricultural, it was clunky, it was boring. I just didn't warm to that bike at all. I mean, was that because it's got dropped or not? Maybe, but you had exactly the same impression of it, didn't you?
Explain to me the point of that bike.
I don't know really. It's not powerful enough to be a 900.
No.
It's a too upright. It's more like a Tracer or a a Tiger or any sort of adventure bike, but it's not an adventure bike.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, it's a paradoxical bike. That's why I can drop it and not claim I've dropped it.
And it's not fucking cheap, mate. So
yeah, how much was that?
I think it was like 14.5, 15. Cars coming fucking stand on the road, all sorts going on. You're not clear, by the way.
No, I saw it. Am I clear after those cars?
Say again? You're clear, yeah, you're clear. Right, you're not clear now.
I'm past.
Right. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like, the tech's nice. I think it was keyless. It had the flipper, I believe.
Yeah, but keyless is not...
Oh no, Salvan, we're going, Salvan.
Keyless is not all that either, because keyless is, you forget, like... The problem is, when you put all your bike kit on, you're restricted, aren't you? You don't know where everything is, you've got gloves, you haven't got the tactile feel.
Yeah.
So, do you remember you have the fucking key? I mean, the nice thing is with a key, you're like, oh, there it is. You know what I mean? Keyless, I'm not a fan of.
I mean, what I'm saying, though, is that it had some toys. So they're bringing, they're bringing some tech to the 900, but I mean, that just literally, it wasn't exciting. It wasn't particularly fast. It was heavy. I don't understand why that exists.
No, I'm sure there are a lot of people out there that love the F900. I mean, that said, the old F800, that was, for me, the tank on that old F800 was a bit wide. It used to hurt my hips. I got tight hips. But as a bike, I mean, that was the bike of choice for stunt riders. They take all the bearings off and use it as a stunt bike.
Okay.
So the F800 was actually a really sensible, big first bike. Like, if you wanted to step up, like a street triple, you don't want to start on the 600, but you don't want to go to a litre.
Yeah.
The F800 was a really good option, and I assumed the F900 was a replacement, but like what we're smelling around us, it's just shit.
Yeah, I mean, it is a very strange sort of, at these days, given what's available, what's going on down here, Nigel?
I don't know, we've got, is that where they shut the road down and the lorry thought he might be able to do it?
Access to Polo Club diversion left.
Yeah, that's that road shut that we got caught in.
Road ahead closed. Are we on the other side of it? Have we got on the other side of it? I'm not sure.
I don't know. Makes sense if we are. So then that leads us on to the S1000RR.
Right, okay. So basically, Mr. fucking Muscat here has decided that he's going to drop let's be real, fuck this paradox bollocks, he dropped an F900, mate. So we were on a jolly for the day. John and I had planned that we were going to go over to On Your Bike Again, and I was going to go out on the Z900 and the Ducati.
Oh yeah, Supersport.
Supersport, okay. So we set up in the morning, I'm on the F900, Mr. Muscat's out on the old 1000RR. John comes and joins us on in the Speed triple. Speed, that's right, yeah. John drops the bike, I get about 5 minutes on the S1000RR, but those 5 minutes have just opened my eyes to a whole different world of bikes. I I mean, I ended up having to drive through the town centre of Northampton, which is a shift on at the best time, but it was absolutely fantastic. The shifter, all the toys, the screens, amazing.
And bearing in mind, you still at this point haven't got your own bike, right? Although you've done some mileage on a lot of loan bikes,
Yeah,
you haven't had your own bike. You're still a relatively new rider.
yeah,
Still an anxious rider as well.
yeah,
And you sat on a 200 horsepower super bike,
absolutely.
and you still felt comfortable to ride, not only ride that bike, but you actually enjoyed it.
Through town, through roadworks and traffic and red lights and hey, so full disclosure, when I got on that bike, I was absolutely shitting myself. You know, somebody says you've got a 200 brake horsepower bike, it's what, a 17 grand worth of bike, the most expensive thing I've been on.
It didn't help that the supposed experienced rider had just dropped the bike in front of you. You had to help yourself as well, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm stressing. Got on it, instantly felt comfortable, instantly felt like it was manageable, it wasn't snatchy, it wasn't aggressive, or, you know, it wasn't shaking around, so smooth. Obviously then you and I rolled through town. I didn't really get a chance to concentrate too much on the bike because